Hello, I'm David Grice. I'm an artist and I live here in southern Spain, where I have a studio. I've been here for 3.5 years in this studio. I've made a lot of art in southern Spain, both sculptures and paintings, and I have a huge collection which no one has ever seen. It's more than 30 years now since I actually showed pieces of art. And I think now is the time that I ought to start to show it. I was trained at Bradford Art College in the 1960s with the same tutors as David Hockney had earlier. I was there for 4 years at the art college, and I had to pay my own way by working nights at a bakery. I never followed a curriculum there. I just went from one department to another and learned as much as I could. I was asked to come back to Bradford and do some teaching, and I did that for about a year before the family business needed me and I had to go, and I did that for the next 16 years. After 16 years of working in our businesses, I decided to go back to being an artist. And so I sold everything up, and when I was 40, we opened an art gallery in a village called Saltaire in West Yorkshire. By the early 90s, I had developed a definite style of surrealism. It's then that I started to paint the mannequin series, and one in particular, the Grice painting, which was painted entirely with a brush with no preparatory drawing in one colour. This is why it's called Grice. After 12 successful years at Saltaire, with the art gallery and the studio, we sold the premises and we moved to Brighton in East Sussex, where we were for 18 months. And then we moved on to Belgium. In Belgium, we bought a very big apartment, which was built by an architect for himself, and made a fantastic studio and workplace, and we were there for 7 years. Whilst we were living at the penthouse in Antwerp, I discovered that we were in the diamond district of Antwerp, where all the Orthodox Jews lived, and I really were drawn to the images of these people. The Orthodox Jews eat a fish called a filter fish, which is actually a carp. And I did one painting which shows a man riding a fish instead of a bicycle, taking it home, waving his arms in the air with glee. Whilst I was living in the diamond district of Antwerp, I made the Jewish series of about 96 paintings, I think, in total. A complete exhibition, which actually has never been seen by anybody. We moved to a rented house in Antwerp and we lived there for another 2 years. And then I fell down the stairs twice, unfortunately, and damaged my spine and my legs. And I had to have surgery. And the surgeon said that we needed to go to a warmer climate, otherwise I wouldn't heal properly. So we reluctantly decided to move south. Where to go? We were undecided, either France or Spain. So we filled a lorry and we put all our possessions into the lorry, and we sat in the road in Antwerp and we said, heads or tails? And we flicked a coin and it turned out to be Spain. So we set off, arriving several days later on the coast to Costa del Sol, and we ended on the seafront at Torres Costa, and we moved in there, and we were actually there for 9 years. The apartment at Torres Costa was right on the beach, only about 40 metres from the ocean. And we had a big terrace, and I started to use that as my studio. And I had my machinery and my materials all on the terrace. Anyway, I started to build the Super Surreal Baroque series of sculptures, which got bigger and more elaborate as time went along. And I made 14 of them while we were there, over 5 years. I got all the materials from the dustbins round about Torres Costa, because at that time there was a severe recession and I had an abundance of material to work with. So I made all these sculptures and I started to use toys. So I went round all the Rastro markets and collected unusual toys which I used in the sculptures. After 9 years of living on the beach, we had to start to look for another place, and we found the place we have now in the mountains, which has a big garage studio and a studio upstairs. It took us 3 months to pack everything and move to the mountains, because we had so much art that the place was absolutely full. And the first thing that I did when I arrived here was I made a big painting, a big abstract painting on one of the curtains from the old apartment, and I call it The Big Move. And it's all the emotions and all the effort of the big move. I've always been fascinated by the idea that aliens came to the earth many thousands of years ago and influenced the development of mankind. In 2019, in my studio here in the mountains, I embarked on making a series of sculptures which are really prototypes that the aliens would have made of human beings. So I've used varying materials and engineering as well as the human form to make this series of sculptures. So far I've completed 6 of these pieces, but my intention is to make at least 20 of them, to make a full exhibition showing the concept of human beings as seen by aliens. For the past 3.5 years since I've been in this new studio, I've done a lot of painting and just completed a large painting, The Unequal Equilibrium, which took me just over 6 months to paint. It's 33 years now since I started to paint full-time again, and I now have more than 1,500 works. I've made the best art that I can possibly make in the best possible way, and I hope that people viewing it appreciate the effort and the skill and the pure sincerity of feeling that's gone into it. My biggest dream would be for a big gallery, a New York gallery or a London gallery, to take me on and to show this work in the way that I believe it should be shown. Thank you for taking the time to look at this video and for looking at my work, and I really hope that people like what I've done.